Okay, so what we've got is we're going to learn how to reference files so that you don't end up losing work later on. So this is the model file that you're going to reference in. Okay, so you don't actually need this open. So I'm going to go File to New. I'm not going to save changes to that. And once you're in a new file, you go to File, Reference Editor. You could also just click Create Reference and navigate to the file and it would reference it in. But we're going to go to the Reference Editor. And you can go to File, Create Reference in here, or you could click on this little diamond shape with the plus sign. And once you do that, then you want to select the file that you want referenced in. Click Reference. And now it's referenced in. The difference between a referenced in file and an imported file is that this referenced in file still exists on its own. So if I were to go through and make an edit on that referenced file and then save it and then reopen this file, which is going to be my rig file, so I'm going to call it girl_rig. So if I were to make an edit on the girl.ma and then save it and then reopen my girl_rig.ma, then that rig file will have the updated mesh or the updated girl. That's very important because when we are working on this, because I'm not done with the model, any edits I make on this model, if you don't reference in the file, which means you're going to lose all of the work you've done. Well, maybe that's an exaggeration. But you're going to lose work that you don't want to lose. So reference your files in. Okay, and this is standard practice in the industry, so you might as well get used to it. It's also a work saver. Anyway, so that's about all there is to referencing. You can, if you make, let's say you had both of the files open at once, you had the girl.ma and the girl_rig.ma open at the same time. Well, inside the reference editor in the girl_rig.ma, you could open in the reference editor, you could open up the reference editor, and you could right click on this and go to Reference, Reload Reference. Every time you make a change to that girl in the model file. Okay. Now there's a danger to this. If you do not have your project set, you are going to be in a world of hurt. This is not going to work for you. And it's just going to be a pain. So set your projects. Okay. Also, you'll want to be aware that if you rename something like I'm about to do, girl_model, it will rename it. Now this reference is no longer any good. So I click Save, Continue. Now I'm going to close and reopen that file, and you're going to see what's going to happen. This is what's going to happen every time if you don't set your project. We call it losing your references. Okay, so I'm going to go File, Open. I'm going to open girl_rig. Oh, and then it says can't find that reference file. So we need to make path change permanent in this case, and we got to browse and tell it which file we really did want. And now it's going to be updated. Okay. Now that seemed really simple, but In a larger project, you'll have lots of files being referenced into each other, and there's going to be lots of information being passed around. So you just want to set your project, and once files have been referenced, you do not want to change the names unless you absolutely have to. So that's about all there is to know about referencing.